Uno's a classic. All right. So let me screen share here. So welcome everybody to Ready Player One. Hopefully all of you guys are ready to play. Today's session with us is going to be all play. And so hopefully you're ready to participate and engage with us today. So for some introductions, I am Michelle Van Ornum. I have been an educator for 17 years now, mostly middle school. And basically I am in a position in a small district, other duties as assigned. So you name it, and I was probably assigned it at one point in time. And then I just moved up to my newest position, which I haven't added on there yet. I'm not quite ready, but I've entered the dark side as principal of the school that I've been teaching at for the last 18 years. So I'm very excited about that.
And I am Nicole Chun, and I am a TOSA in the exact same district, and actually, I should upgrade that, it's 21 years now. Well, coming on 21 years. And also have been part of that small district, have done many other duties as assigned, and I love playing games, and I'm excited to play with y'all.
So first one is Jamboard. I don't know how many of you have played with Jamboard with your students. I know it became a lot more used during distance learning this past year and a half. And so in math, Jamboard kind of was my saving grace because it was my smart board when I didn't have my smart board. And I was able to share all kinds of things, but we learned to play on it also. So if you haven't checked out, make sure if you are a math geek like I am, check out Joe Bowler's Math Mindset. They also have a whole website called U Cubed, and it has a whole first week of school, all based around math that you can adjust to any level. And so we're going to start with an activity that's called 4 4s, and I got this activity from there. Essentially, I made it my own. And we play it in class. Usually I do it on the whiteboard. So I'll put the numbers 1 through 20 up on the whiteboard, and the students have to work together to try and come up with the numbers 1 through 20 using only the number 4. So they have to use the number 4 exactly 4 times. And they cannot use, they have to use all math symbols in between. So add, subtract, multiply, divide. They can use exponents, factorials, and one of them you need a factorial for. So even my middle school kids, I actually had some kids that stayed in at break and lunch because they were determined that they were going to get all of them filled in 1 through 20. And then their first kind of project assignment is to come up with a 4 4s all about me. And so I put little directions, and that's the part that I came up with. So this is mine that I would share with them. So I'd share a little bit about, so I have been teaching 18 years. I've been to 26 states, 20 years I've been married, and I have 4 children. So they pick 4 numbers about themselves and then write their equation to go along with it. And then they design a slide, and we kind of made a slideshow for back to school night, which was super fun. And when we were in the classroom, we actually printed them out and displayed them on the wall, which was awesome. So we are going to, so I'm going to put a copy of this in the chat, and we are going to play a little bit. So you guys are going to, if you could click on the Jamboard and join us on the Jamboard, pick any slide that you would like. So any slide 1 through 20, and you can either type in. So for those of you that have used Jamboard before, you can do all kinds of things. There's a sticky note that you can type on. You can just click text, or you can click the pen and just write with your mouse. But pick a slide as soon as you come up with one. We're trying to use the number 4 times exactly to come up with each one of these numbers. So one of the ones I like to start out with, I try to pick sort of easier ones just to get the kids thinking. So like for example, 16, I could do, so, and you can just type a text box. And so I could do 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. So that would be 16. So let's see what you guys come up with. And I'm going to pause my screen share to start my music. I see some popping up already there. Awesome. Also in distance learning, I would put the kids into breakout rooms, and each breakout room would have its own Jamboard. Anybody else used 4-4s before in their classroom? Have any results, or is it brand new? Ooh, summer school. I like it. The thing I love about 4-4s is it actually is my, whoops, I did stop share. It's actually my initial kind of formative assessment of the kids. I have them share out the equations that they wrote. And so you can hear their mathematical thinking. You learn all about what order of operations they're using instead of just starting with an order of operations test or something like that in middle school. This allows me to assess exactly where my students are. I've had so many students in the middle of saying it, they go, oh no, wait, that's not right. And then they'll fix it, which to me is the best kind of learning, is when they're learning on the spot and they're correcting their own mistakes. So let's see what people have come up with. Let's see. Somebody did 12, if anybody wants to share. I'll talk a little later, Julie. I love the variety in the solutions. There are unlimited number of solutions, which is actually my favorite way to do some assessments, is make sure there's more than one way to get to the right answer. Open up the possibilities for the kids. So even in these, we had some people with some ideas here. So square roots would be fine, but it doesn't follow our 4-4s that we were going for. So same thing, these are great for math talks. If you ever do math talks and you can do any way to get there, then like in this case, I would just challenge the kids, okay, how could we fix these and come up with one that's a 4 to go with this number? But all of those are correct also. So this one has 1 4, so I would challenge this person, okay, you have 1 4, how are you going to incorporate 3 more 4s? So we want to have exactly 4 4s. It's harder than it looks. Ooh, division. And especially when you're doing these whole class whiteboard style, they will see each other's come up on the board and they'll start to interject and they'll get ideas and they'll say, oh, wait, I could do that with the number I was working on. Things like that. I try not to assign the numbers to kids. I want it to be kind of more free flowing, where any combination that they come up with, they could put up on the board. Ooh, we got brackets and parentheses in here. This is awesome. So, all right. Yes, so only the number 4 is the goal. You can also do it. There's one with 5 5s. 5 5s is really hard, really, really hard. But there have been spin-offs of it. 4 4s is the most popular. So did anybody come up with the one? As a teacher, you can scroll through the top here and be able to see your students' work. So you can see kind of who's working on which one. Another spin-off of it, if you have high school kids, I would put a new slide with challenge the kids to do all the numbers 1 through 20 in pairs instead of just one number each. So, oh, we got some ones with exponents going on. I like those exponents. Very creative. Ooh, 4 to the 4th. Numbers start to get really big. Ooh, square roots, I like it. Factorial, somebody found it. Awesome. So you could see some really creative solutions in there. And normally, like I said, I would have the kids share out and say how they got their solutions. And then on their own, they get to pick their own 4 numbers about themselves and go from there. I would encourage you on your own to go through. We have played Jamboard is absolutely my jam. I am in love with Jamboard. I used it for everything under the sun, but I also love Google Slides. So I put kind of, if you could put all the things, to me, Jamboard and Google Slides are all the things. They're everything that you could ever need, maybe and more. So I put a bunch of other games on here on Google Slides. So I'll just show a couple of examples. There's one called Google Slides game that's on there. These are great to play on distance learning as well as in person, but they're already set up where the players, they can just move their pieces. There's a tic-tac-toe, Mancala for any of you that like. There's chess and checkers, shoots and ladders is always a favorite, or snakes and ladders as this one is called. There's also a link to an awesome website that's combines EduProtocols and Jamboard, which what else could be better than EduProtocols plus Jamboard? So if you haven't checked out EduProtocols, Math Reps, absolutely my favorite thing because it covers all the standards in one repetition and you do it over and over. So there's all kinds of things on that student-centered math classroom. And then I also put in there, for those of you that do primary, there are tons of primary resources. This Kentucky Center for Mathematics is an excellent resource for anybody doing primary. And then Estimistries, if you haven't checked those out yet, those are awesome, but Jamboard's a great way to be able to look at your students and their estimation. How Estimistries go is that you present something and then you start to give them clues and they narrow down. So they would use this and cross off the numbers that would be eliminated as you give them additional clues. So they're narrowing their estimate with Estimistries. So I think that's, there's tons more on there. Battleship is another awesome one. So make sure you check out those resources, the extra resources, because they are definitely all the things with so many fun ideas on there. So, and to you, Nicole. Oh, you're muted, Nicole.
I believe I did that. I was really brilliant. You all missed it. Yeah. One of my favorite ways to incorporate play is online quiz games. Blookett's kind of one of my favorites. And when we first did an iteration of Ready Player One back in November, like nobody was using Blooket, and it has since kind of exploded, and kind of with good reason, I think. Frequently their servers are getting overloaded because it's so popular. And it has multiple game modes. It has that nice immediate feedback, so you can use it for your fast and curious, or just, you know, giving kids those high leverage, low DOK skill practices. It is one of the few ways I can get my own child to practice her math facts, and it's really fun. The kids love it. So I I have the paid version, but you can totally get away with the free version as a teacher. Just the paid version has a couple little features like importing from Quizlet and save. Well, no, I think you can import from Quizlet in the free version, but you can't organize and save them from the library. So we'll play a short one. My kids love this. They love it when I play with them. There are all of these different game modes. One of our favorites is Gold Quest, and they love it when you play with them because there is nothing more fun than stealing gold from your teacher, apparently. So we'll just do a short 5-minute game.
If you haven't played this before, it's super fun online when you tell the kids, like intentionally tell them to unmute. The verbal interaction with the kids is what makes it the most lively. So feel free to unmute and join us as we steal each other's gold and get to play.
Drop in the chat, but also you just
to my favorite game.
Yeah, we play it with teachers all the time, and it never stops being fun.
Oh, come on. Oh, my connection's slow. Sorry.
No.
Come on.
And if the students do create a login on Blooket, they can actually start to collect books and earn their the coins to be able to purchase more of them. So
There's
that's
that
always
little
good as
gamified
well.
aspect too of collecting.
34958.
And I know both of us as mothers, our kids played some. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. I played it for the first time with my kids, and then all of a sudden it got quiet. And I don't, if any of you have kids, you know, if it gets quiet, you got to check on them. So I went in and checked, and they're all with their laptops from school playing against each other. They had created their own games.
All right.
That's most everybody.
Almost everybody.
Yeah, my internet is still slow, so I haven't logged in. So don't wait for me if it doesn't.
I think
if
you
I
can
can't
join
get
late.
there.
Yeah.
I think I had such a.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can.
Join
Can.
whenever
So
you get logged in.
for those of you who have never played, like, well, you just answer questions correctly, and then you choose from 3 cases, and they have different golds and treasures, or sometimes steals or power-ups.
You went old school, Nicole.
It's a mix. It's a total mix. So we hit all the generations. Someone stole gold from me.
Already?
Already? Ooh.
Oh, Lori stealing the gold. Nicole.
Yes. Ooh, triple gold.
Math-wise, I love it when kids say, oh, I lost 50% of 0. And they start to really realize what that means, but it's all good.
Yeah, I never had that. There's an extra hidden little curriculum in there. Percentages.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I really did go old school with this one, didn't I?
Yes.
I mixed it up. Oh.
All right, I stole it back. Tony swapped back. Encarta, my gosh.
I got that question too. I was like, oh, I made this one.
William Hung. Oh my word. I like this one. This would be a fun one to play at one of our faculty meetings.
Yes. Cool.
Oh no, it's Unsolved Mystery.
The Simpsons beat out Days of Our Lives. What?
I made this so funny. Excuse me, I'm over here just enjoying my own quiz.
All good.
And a half left. That gold.
The floppy disk.
Yeah.
Somebody swapped.
All right, let's see who it is. We have Ryan B in third. Wiley 8, owning the game with 12,350 gold. Nice. Oops, okay. So look at, if you haven't tried it, definitely explore some of those game modes and things like that. Gold, like I said, is really popular with my kids. I know we like Crypto Hack as well. But if you're playing along with them, like I said, something about stealing gold from your teacher just really makes them happy. So of course, there are lots of other quiz platforms that we can use. You know, Kahoot and Quizzes. I love Quizzes. It's fantastic. Gimkit is great. You can't really get away with the free version in a classroom too far, but the paid version isn't that expensive. 99 Math is just math, but they keep expanding how much content they're offering, and it's free to classrooms, and the kids really like that as well. So all of these are linked, and you can kind of explore and find tools that are useful to you. And changing gears, let's talk about, like, I'm a board game, video game, card game, any kind of game. I love games. And I have had a cupboard full of games in my classroom like forever, and it just keeps growing. And I will spare you the TED Talk, but some of them are not explicitly educational games, because I do believe that playing for playing's sake is sometimes just as educational, and there's a lot of hidden curriculum in some of the games that we can play together. But like I said, I'll spare you that TED Talk. But when we went into virtual learning, I was like, how am I gonna play games with my class? And so I started looking for resources and alternatives and ways I could share. I went the wrong direction. I'm muting myself. I'm just a disaster. So I found different online versions of some of the games that we could play. I like tried to get sneaky and creative. Every year, my kids get a bag with cards and dice and Play-Doh and index cards and just things so that we can, I mean, you can make so many games just with those things. And I sent those home and we improvised and we were creative. So here are some of those different games. You can play Scattergories, Taboo, and Boggle. Werewolf that can be adapted to like kind of playing like Among Us. Wordner is really fun. It's kind of like apples to apples. And then Heads Up, again, if you don't have the game for Heads Up or you don't want to, you know, create that. I mean, we did it with 3x5 cards and students would just have to, if you go on Zoom, you can make it so that they can't, so you can't see yourself. And a student would just hold up their cards and just as they guess them, drop them. One of the ones that is pretty fun for vocabulary is Scribble. It's very much like Pictionary. It is ad supported, so before you can get into the game, it does run an ad, but I haven't seen any inappropriate ads. They're just kind of annoying. But I have one set up, and here's our little word bank, so we can play a game of Scribble. I'm just gonna copy my word bank here. Share bars in my way. So I already have this set up. When you sign in, they can kind of create their own little avatar, put their name in, and then as the watch the ad. I thought I had it queued up, but I guess. It's extra long for our
That's okay.
Okay. There we go. So that was super fun. So we'll play 3 rounds. I'm going to put my custom word list in here so you can put any vocabulary words you want. And then you just need to make sure you check that box to ensure that you're just using those words. And then I'm going to copy that link and drop it in my chat. Click the link and join. Unfortunately, you will be subject. Fortunately, I think when you sign on as a player, you can skip the ad after a few seconds, fortunately.
So I love to do this with math vocabulary, especially our geometry units that we do, where the kids have all of their different angles. You know, we do angles between parallel lines, quadrilaterals, all kinds of things that you could use that would be easy for them to sketch, even using the touchpad.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing because I think mine shows the answers, and I'm gonna go ahead and start the game. And so somebody will be choosing a word and drawing it. Actually, I guess I can screen share because I'm not the person choosing the word.
On yours, if you're the person drawing it, you would choose a word and then you'll draw it, and then everybody else will see it, and everybody else can type in words that they think it is.
And at the top, it gives you how many letters there are, so that can help you with guessing. And then you just type your answer in here. I see some people are getting their guesses in.
Oh, and the other thing I love about this is lots of people can get the right answer.
Mhm.
So the first person to get the right answer will be the next one to draw and they get the points, but everybody else can still keep guessing until the end of the timer. So that way it allows everybody opportunity to keep getting it right. It's not just about the first person. Diploma. Like it. Nobody yet, huh?
One more round.
Brian's on fire over there.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there's all kinds of, you'll have options for different colors at the bottom. Ryan brought that up.
Yes, sorry, good one. Oh.
Had to be specific, I guess.
I think I checked my box. Let's see. So go ahead and oh. We'll end after this round.
Some really talented artists here.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and end that for the interest of time. Yeah. So I'm gonna just say that take time to explore those if you're interested in games. You can also just make games on Google Slides. We do category games all the time with my students to kind of engage them in some different thinking. And I know Michelle mentioned up on the other slide where we shared some of the other resources on both sides, S Mysteries and Splat. I think those from Steve Whitewarney. Those are super fun with kids. So these are just two different category games. And this one, I give you something that fits the category but doesn't. So ventricle, but not aorta. And then I would ask the kids to enter what the category is in the chat. Hot hands. And then kidney, but not liver. And then, some of the kids will start adding and getting it figured out. Feet, but not toes. And finally, eyes, but not mouth. And then I move the category if we still hadn't gotten it. Usually we do. So again, on that top slide, there are a lot of links. There's also a bunch that I kind of tacked on to the end of the presentation because I just love to give you everything. So all this stuff is meant to be useful, but I'm going to hand off because I want to make sure we have a little bit of time to talk about, even though it's not really a game, but animating with Google Slides. The fun and engagement factor is so significant. We always have a blast with it. So I'm handing it off.
So animations are excellent. They're a great way for kids to demonstrate their knowledge. I think a lot of people use them to teach, but I think having kids create their own. So I'm going to show you how to make your own GIF using Google Slides. I'm going to do a primary one using the Very Hungry Caterpillar, which I think is a story that everybody knows, but some other ideas. There's all kinds on here if you take a look. So I love to do ones with solving equations where the kids will make a GIF about how the steps for solving an equation. And not only are they learning the steps, but they're also demonstrating them. And then it helps other students to watch them over and over. Transformations are another awesome one to do. Rotations, showing how a shape could rotate and its degrees of rotation, all of those fantastic. This one is a GIF example that was done about how the center of a cylinder really is a rectangle. So when you're doing surface area of a cylinder, it's made up of a rectangle and two circles. And then we talk about circumference. You can do vocabulary, parts of speech. This one we made during a professional development we did with our teachers at our district. Drowning Ophelia. So there in Hamlet, she is drowning. NGSS phenomena, all kinds of cycles, the life cycle of a butterfly, timeline of events, retelling moments in history, exit tickets. Students can make their own exit ticket demonstrating what they learned for the day. So I'm going to kind of show you, if you click on the demo, so I'm going to copy this and I'll paste it in the chat. And then it's going to ask you to make your own copy because you want all the kids to have their own copy. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have a slide deck that looks like this. And so if you haven't done it before, you want to try to use all this space on the sides. I put everything that the kids are going to need in that space. And so if I zoom out a little bit, you can see this is actually filled with all of the things that I might need. So I'm going to build my very first slide and I'm going to set it up. So I need the sun was shining and there was a leaf, and I teach the kids about rotating. So this is one of our like beginner slide ones where I've given them all the pieces. So here we have this leaf and I have a fairly decent sized caterpillar. So I'm going to make my leaf a little bit bigger. And here's Mr. Caterpillar. You can teach the kids if they want to do order. So if they right click and click on order, they can bring the caterpillar to the front. And so here I set up my first one with my little caterpillar. Then what they're going to do is you would click on the slide itself and you can either go to edit, copy, or you can just do Control C. So on the slide on the left, you would do Control C and then you would click Control V. And so now I've made an exact copy. But on the copy, I'm going to take my little caterpillar and I'm going to move him. Then I'm going to copy my new slide so that he's in his new location. And then I'm going to move him again. And then I'm going to do copy. So then I'm going to do copy paste and I'm going to move him again. And then I'm going to do one more. So copy, paste, and I'm going to move this little guy again. All right. So now that he's made it all the way through the leaf, here he is, and I'm going to make the leaf disappear. And on the first day, he took a big bite of an apple. And so I might start the apple right here. So there's my apple appears. And then again, click on the slide itself and do copy and paste. So then you're going to move your little caterpillar. In this case, I might want the apple to go in front. So he's going to like eat through the apple. So it's going to look like he's like eating through it. Okay. So here's my little guy and gobble, gobble, gobble. So then the kids can kind of test it out. So if you click on the slide, the very first slide, you can flip through and see the caterpillar moving across the screen. So you can start to see it being animated. Okay. So I'm going to give everybody just about 2 minutes or so to kind of give themselves a couple of slides, move their caterpillar along, and then I'll show you how to make it into a GIF. So, and while you're doing that, I'll kind of talk about some other things that we have done with these slide GIFs. We've also taken 3D shapes and made nets out of them or rotated, or I've done ones where you had to compare volume. So comparing volume on a cylinder versus a cone and filling up one. Those are kind of fun to show them filling with water. Other one, parts of speech, so they can show how a sentence is assembled with the parts of speech. Illustrating a story is probably the most common, like we did with Drowning Ophelia. Rock cycle, water cycle, the moon, the phases of the moon is an awesome one to show the different phases of the moon over the course of the season. If you have any other ideas, feel free to toss them in. If you've used a GIF before or you just thought of an idea. Oh, thank you for catching that, Nicole. Tag team. So give everybody another minute or so. Get their little caterpillar going. All right, so even if you're not done, which you're probably not, at least gave you some time to play. I put in there about, the first page of the slide is just a Google slide with all of the pieces. And then every time they copy and paste it, all those pieces on the side get taken with it. So that's why you want them to copy the whole slide so that it takes all those pieces and they're not trying to copy and paste different pieces from the first one onto other ones. So then you're going to go to Tall Tweets and you're going to say, so at the top, it looks like this. You want to go down to where it says classic and say select presentation. And the cool part is it works great with Google Slides. And so it's going to recognize in your recent presentations that you worked on. So you would select your slide deck, and it does take a minute, especially when we're sharing over Zoom. It'll take a minute for it to cycle through and collect all your slides. I've seen people also do this as teachers. They made headers for their Google Classroom that said like test today or reminders for their students at the top of the Google Classroom. That's an awesome teacher use. I've seen people do this where it'll play on an email they send out, things like that. Like these make great reminders for teachers, students alike. Did you have any you wanted to add while mine is loading?
Only that there's also a Google Slides add-on called Creator Studio. It's actually on the site because it's from Tall
Right.
Tweets that you can also use. But what I like about Tall Tweets is that it doesn't have to be added or anything, and students can jump to it and use it. And of course, when we're screen sharing, it's pretty slow. But I know we're out of time, but the slide deck, please make sure you get a copy of that slide deck. It has all of the resources you need. It has tutorial videos, it has all kinds of things.
So the only thing I was going to add real quick is just your duration. I would not go longer than 1.0, but usually anywhere between 0.2 and 0.3. And then you just say create and then save. And so it'll play it for them and the kids can adjust. And so you'll see mine's going to play here. So it shows you like, there's my little caterpillar doing its thing. So in a very short amount of time, kids can create and share a lot about what they know. And they're awesome to watch. So I hope everybody enjoyed. Thank you for joining us today for Ready Player One.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. If you have questions or you have cool games you want to share with us, you can email us or hit us up on Twitter. I think they're in our presentation. I hope so. Thank you.
Yes, they are. We put them in there.
Have a moment. All right. Have a great rest of your Google camp. Thank you.
Thank you for the round of applause, Gary.
Yeah.
That was fun. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome,
Play.
Deanna. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Happy play with your students. All right, I'm going to do stop share. They have a lunch hangout for anybody interested. I don't know if you guys saw that from our moderator. All right.
All right.
And then I think
Do we need to stop the recording?
stop.